Hey, welcome. Welcome to the Only Male Cruz show. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Listen, I'm going to read the transcript for this Gervonta Davis, the civil suit that he has going on, and I was looking at it earlier today, and it's given Cassie and Diddy. So my question is, um, how far is this thing going to go? Because right now it's just civil, and um, with it just being a civil suit, um, why would Jake Paul stop that fight? But just like with Diddy, it could possibly even go criminal. So, I mean, because here's some egregious stuff in here. But hey, the title of the show, Jake Paul's excuse or strategy. Did he hide behind Gervonta's civil case? And does Gervonta Davis's civil case expose Jake Paul's fear, or does it expose Gervonta? And I think Tank might be in a little bit of trouble if you compare this even just a little bit to what uh, Diddy went through. Okay, because that started off as a civil case, and then we see what that turned into. Um, so share the show if you don't mind. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But it's Friday. I know people are trying to get to their limit drops. I know I am. And so I'm just going to run through this transcript real quick, and then we're going to be out. So let's just get right into it. So this civil suit was filed by the young lady's name is Courtney Russell. And I tried to find some pictures of her online, but to be honest with you, there weren't any that specifically identified her. So I do have some pictures, but I'm not going to, I kind of covered the face of the person because, what I don't want to have happen is, we're putting the wrong individual's face up. Um, but this is Gervonta, and I'm not mad at him. I was looking at some of his film, and, he clearly has got mad, crazy skills. But, you know, you just can't. Again, I guess everything we're talking about is behavior between him and Clarissa. Boy, we need some behavioral specialists going on out here. Okay, but we're gonna get right into it because, like I said, I'm not gonna be here long, but I am gonna be here strong. We're gonna get into this transcript. So, this was filed. Looks like on October 30th, and the plaintiff is Courtney Russell. And just a quick overview, this is a complaint seeking actual damage emanating from claims of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress related to an incident that occurred on October 27th of this year. And these type of cases always throw me off because why do you go straight for the civil instead of going to the criminal? I get you want to be reimbursed, or you want to be taken care of because now he's reactivated your PTSD. But isn't what he did a crime? Isn't this a crime? So why aren't we doing? Why didn't you pursue and have charges to be pressed? So that always kind of makes me look at it a little side eye when it's like you're going for the money, or you're going for the civil piece of it, but you're not trying to go for the criminal aspect of it. But hey, it is what it is. Says Davis entered Russell's place of work where he choked, grabbed, pulled, pushed, and hit her in the back of her head. Like, damn. And so Courtney Russell is an individual. She resides in Miami-Dade County. She also conducts business in Miami-Dade County. This is why they were saying that, hey, they got jurisdiction to handle this in Miami-Dade because they both live there, they both do business there, and the incident happened there. So ain't gonna be none of that sovereign citizen crap, okay? It's all going down in Miami-Dade, okay? And so the defendant, Gervonta Bryant Davis, is an individual where he resides here. He's a professional boxer known as Tank. Again, I've talked about the jurisdiction already. Everything happened in Miami-Dade, and that's why it's going down in Miami-Dade. But here are the allegations. Tank a professional boxer who's completed, or as you were, competed in multiple weight divisions. Davis is publicly known for his career in the sport of boxing and for holding multiple championship titles. Davis has a vast and extensive criminal history, especially instances related to domestic violence and abuse against ex-girlfriends. And that's that right there. Stop all that. On September 19th of 2017, an arrest warrant was issued due to Davis's committing first-degree aggravated assault. September 14th, 2018, he was arrested for starting a fight with another man. February 1st, 2020, he was arrested on drugs, simple battery, domestic violence against a former girlfriend. December 27th, 22, Davis was arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. July 11th, 25, Davis was taken into custody following another battery charge. Davis ultimately has a penchant for being violent. And as a result, it is clear that Davis has a propensity and a pattern for violence upon women. No doubt about it. Shout out to you, CMO. Thanks for pulling up. Sure do appreciate you. Jake Paul canceled, not Netflix. Shows he was scared and wanted an out. He fights a convicted rap, but won't fight a fighter with allegations. And you know what, CMO, I mean, you know what? If you want me to drop the link, just say so, because you're definitely welcome up here. Here's the thing, and I was watching this video today. I can't remember the guy's name, but but this guy's really good. And he said, listen, as a profession, this is the YouTuber. He goes, I'm trained in law. And he went on into, hey, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and that's what got me to thinking, like, well, damn, Jake, like, what's up with that? Like, one, really isn't a criminal. This is not a criminal case, at least not now. And so why wouldn't you give him the benefit of the doubt? So that made me think maybe you are afraid of Gervonta. So I don't know. We about to see. Yeah, he canceled, not Netflix. Yeah, okay. I can see that. Let's see. So yeah, he has a propensity against patterns of violence against women. So Roussel and Davis have known each other for approximately 5 years, having first met around 2022. For approximately 5 months prior to an incident, Prior to the incident at issue, Roussel and Davis were intimately involved, although they chose not to make their relationship public. And throughout the 5 months prior to the incident in question, there were multiple instances of domestic violence, abuse, and threats made by Davis against Roussel concerning her safety and well-being. And the incident that occurred October 27, 2025 was not the first time Davis was violent towards her. Okay, on at least one, or as you were, on at least 4 prior occasions, Davis physically assaulted and choked this lady, and on 2 occasions, he threatened her in writing to kill her. Now, what's up with that? I mean, real talk, what's really up with that? Like, damn. Is it CTE, as they say? Is it the same thing like the football players be going through? Oh, no, something ain't right. The first known instance of abuse occurred on or about September 2nd of this year, when Davis threatened to kill Roussel for failing to respond to his calls and messages. In his communications, David accused Roussel of being with another man and used abusive and threatening language, stating that he would kill her for being unresponsive. Damn. On or about September 23rd of this year, Davis again threatened her life, Roussel's life, accusing her of infidelity and writing, "I'll kill you." The same day, while at Playa, Miami, Davis physically assaulted Roussel by choking her in public. That's a problem. The assault at Playa, Miami was not the first time Davis had physically attacked Roussel in a public setting. So prior to October 27th of this incident, Davis also violently choked Roussel at her workplace, Tootsie's, where she works as a VIP cocktail waitress. There he found her in a back room area where there are no cameras. And as such, they were able to conceal, the activity that was going on. And, I had to snatch a couple pictures. This looks like a very high-end spot. I mean, very high end. Uh, Damn. So I don't know. If you got to do all that just to keep the woman, I feel like you need to just leave. And the same with the woman, like, you know, but I'm not going to judge. Um, I've been a victim of domestic violence, so I'm certainly not going to judge, because I understand how it can go. Let's see. So on October 27th of this year, at approximately 4:15 a.m., Davis located Roussel inside of her place of work upstairs in the VIP lounge. Davis forcibly grabbed and dragged Roussel through a stairway through the kitchen and through the back entrance, all the way into the parking garage, where Davis continuously grabbed, choked, pushed, pulled, and struck Roussel in the back of her head, leaving her terrified and alone and embarrassed for her coworkers and employer. So how is it that Tank was able to go? I mean, how did you take her out of a spot like that and you walked past millions, I mean, plenty of people, and nobody stopped and said or tried to, man, this is crazy. Approximately 1 hour after the October 27, 2025 attack, Davis sent Rousseau a text message stating, "I'm on my way, yo, ya house," where Rousseau understood that to mean that Davis was headed to her home to further abuse her. Davis has continued to verbally, physically, and psychologically abuse Roussel, causing her to seek medical treatment, therapy, and assistance with her daily living as she remains in constant fear for her life. All conditions precedent to this action have been performed, waived, or have otherwise occurred. Let me see what you're talking about. See, um, what you say here? Well, let's see. Adam says Jake Paul has narrowed his replacement for Tank down to two guys. Gary Coleman. Oh, y'all be killing me with this comedy. Oh man, that is too funny, Adam. Let me see. Jake Paul got a taste of real boxing through sparring. Also, he heard about Tank knocking out heavyweights in sparring. Yeah, he probably is scared. He's got to be scared. Because why? I don't understand why you didn't just give him the benefit of the doubt. But in reading this, listen, I'm not even going to fault Jake Paul. Because Gervonta knows damn well he should have been acting way better than this. Like, what makes you think you can do that? Why would you do that? Like, what's wrong with you? Um, Okay, count one, battery. Plaintiff readopts and realleges the allegations contained above and in paragraphs 1 through 21 as fully stated herein, and he further alleges defendant Davis, um, without the consent of plaintiff Rousseau, intentionally touched or struck Rousseau against her will and with the intent to cause harmful and offensive contact. On multiple occasions, including but not limited to September 23rd of this year and October 27th of this year, defendant violently grabbed, choked, and struck Rousseau. The contact made by defendant was willful, malicious, and performed with the intent to cause harm and intimidation. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's intentional and unlawful physical contact, plaintiff suffered bodily injury, pain and suffering, emotional distress, humiliation, and mental anguish. Wherefore, the plaintiff demands judgment against defendant for compensatory damages, punitive damages, costs of this action, and other such relief as the court deems just and proper. And again, like if all this egregious behavior on Gervonta Tank Davis's part, and this lady is going straight for the bag. I don't understand why you are not going, criminal first. Maybe her attorney said go civil first because then it's easier to get a criminal. I don't know, but if this is battery and kidnapping and things of that nature, why did they arrest him? So, count two, aggravated battery. Plaintiff readopts and realleges the allegations contained above and in paragraphs 1 through 21 as fully stated herein, and he further alleges, considering Davis's status as a professional boxer, one of the biggest Currently in the world, his actions in intentionally touching or striking Rousseau should not be given the same weight as if a reasonable, average, everyday layperson put their hands on another party. Defendant Davis, during the course of intentionally touching or striking plaintiff against her will, knowingly caused great bodily harm in accordance with Florida statutes. Specifically, defendant repeatedly choked plaintiff and shoved her down a flight of stairs and struck her in the head and neck area, placing her at substantial risk of serious injury or death. But yet, we're just looking at a civil suit. No, that don't make sense. Defendant's actions were intentional, malicious, and committed with reckless disregard for plaintiff's safety and well-being. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's aggravated battery, plaintiff has sustained physical injuries, emotional trauma, pain, suffering, medical expenses, and loss of capacity for the enjoyment of life. Wherein plaintiff demands judgment against defendant for compensatory damages, punitive damages, attorney's fees, costs as permitted by law, and other relief deemed just and proper by this court. Count 3, false imprisonment. Plaintiff readopts and realleges the allegations contained above and in paragraphs 1 through 21 as fully stated herein, and he further alleges defendant Davis by force, threats, or physical violence unlawfully restrained, confined, or imprisoned plaintiff against her will and without legal authority or justification. On multiple occasions, including but not limited to the incident on October 27th, of this year, defendant forcibly dragged plaintiff through a stairwell, through a kitchen, through a back door, and all the way into a private parking garage at her place of employment, physically preventing her from leaving, and restrained her by choking and holding her against her will. Defendant's actions were deliberate, intentional, and designed to instill fear and control over plaintiff. Now, why couldn't Gervonta just wait and get into the ring? Why couldn't he wait to do that? And I get it. You know, self-control issues and, you know, whatever, low emotional intelligence, just straight problematic. This is so completely out of pocket. So when you read this, it's like, okay, Jake Paul, I guess I don't necessarily blame you for canceling this fight, because this is ugly. And I think he was trying to say something about, you know, he supports women, and, you know, and because he's primarily, you know, promoting female boxing, you know, he's trying to stand with women. And I get it. I mean, this is an ugly predicament to be in. I'm not, you know, and to be honest with you can't blame anybody but Gervonta, Tank Davis, because you chose to do all this. I mean, you know, you can't blame Jake Paul, and you can't, you know, this is the decision he made, and hey, that was his decision to make, and I really can't be mad at him. This is heinous behavior. This is what? Let's see. Yeah, let's see. The plaintiff loss of liberty. Let me see. As a direct proximate result of defendant's false imprisonment, plaintiff suffered emotional distress, humiliation, loss of liberty, and psychological trauma. Wherefore, the plaintiff says, "Hey, you know, make this whole, make this right." However, the court deems just and proper. Kidnapping. Let me see. CMO said. Let me see what you're talking about, CMO. What you said, don't listen to Jake Paul. He also had sex assault allegations in the past. Yeah. So his record ain't clean. That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit is crazy. And so now, you know what? So like it's a draw. Because this is bad behavior on Jake Paul's part. Bad behavior on Gervonta's part. So, you know, I guess this is what the guys really wanted, right? This is what they wanted. Maybe they were both scared of each other. How about that? Maybe that's it. So they said, well, let me do this. That'll get me out of it. What were they doing if Clarissa was up to boxing, huh? Would they be scared? Would they be scared of her? Okay, so count 4, kidnapping. The plaintiff saying, yeah, everything, and defendant Davis, with the intent to commit the offense of kidnapping as defined by this statute, this Florida statute, attempted to forcibly, secretly, or by threat, confine, abduct, or imprison plaintiff against her will with the intent to terrorize or inflict bodily harm upon her. On October 27th, during that incident, defendant forced plaintiff to exit her workplace against her will, dragged her through the establishment, through a staircase, a kitchen, and back room, all the way into the parking garage, um, attempted to force Russell into his car until she was able to run away. Thank God. Um, Defendant's conduct, including prior acts of violence and threats to kill the plaintiff, demonstrate his specific intent to unlawfully confine and control Rousseau through force and intimidation. Defendant's actions constitute an overt act toward the attempt of kidnapping. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's actions, the plaintiff suffered severe emotional distress, physical injury, and fear for her life and safety. Plaintiff demands, to be squared away, taken care of, made whole, as the court deems just and proper. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Um, Defendant Davis engaged in continuous and deliberate course of outrageous, malicious, and intentional conduct directed toward the plaintiff, consisting of repeated acts of physical violence, explicit death threats, and ongoing emotional and psychological abuse. Defendant's conduct was so extreme and outrageous that defendant went far beyond what any reasonable person would consider acceptable in a decent and orderly society. I mean, I can't disagree with that statement. How do y'all feel about that? Prior to the events involving defendant Davis, plaintiff had previously been subjected to abuse by another individual. Out of fear and trauma, plaintiff never reported or disclosed that prior abuse for over 10 years. As a result, the plaintiff developed symptoms consistent with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and has lived with that fear and emotional vulnerability. Davis, his conduct has re-traumatized the plaintiff, triggering her prior PTSD and compounding her psychological injuries. Now, I will say this: if you have not been previously diagnosed with PTSD, I don't see you getting any compensatory winning or award based on the prior PTSD. Now, you might can claim it now, but it's going to take a minute or two for you to be diagnosed, and you're going to have to, you're going to have to go and actually, just like if you're going for workman's comp or disability, you're not, I got PTSD. Oh, okay, there you go. No, you got to exhibit signs and this and that. So I don't know, she may not get anything on with this prior claim, but I mean, it makes this filing, it definitely gives it some beef. It pads it up. It puts some extra pounds on there. It says plaintiff has developed, emotional vulnerability. He's re-triggered her PTSD, compounding her psychological injuries. The plaintiff now lives in a state of constant fear, is unable to feel safe in her own home. She's having trouble dealing with day-to-day life, including eating, sleeping, having nightmares, and socialization. The plaintiff is actively seeking therapeutic treatment to address the severe emotional and psychological harm caused by Gervonta Tank Davis, his actions. She remains afraid to live alone, has been forced to reside with another person for safety and emotional stability. Defendant acted intentionally, willfully, and with reckless disregard for the high probability that his conduct would cause plaintiff severe emotional stress, trauma, and lasting psychological harm. And I wonder, did Tank know about this, about Roselle's prior domestic violence episodes? And if that's what made him, made him feel like, I know just how to keep my finger right there, keep you under my thumb. I wonder if he knew about that. She didn't report it according to this. So did she disclose or share that with him? It says here, as a direct and proximate result, plaintiff's, or as you were, defendant's conduct, the plaintiff has suffered and continues to suffer severe emotional distress, anxiety, humiliation, psychological trauma, and a well-founded and ongoing fear for her personal safety and life. Plaintiff continues to seek psychological treatment and counseling as a direct result of defendant's extreme and outrageous conduct. Wherefore, for these reasons set forth herein, the plaintiff Respectfully ask this honorable court to enter a judgment for damages in an amount to be determined, together with post-judgment interest, attorney's fees, and costs, as well as any other relief that it deems to be fair and just. And plaintiff hereby demands a trial by jury on all issues so trialable. So again, you want to go to a jury. You want to take the stand. You actually want to testify about this, but where's the criminal action at? That's, where's the criminal action at? Now, maybe this is legal strategy that I'm totally unaware of. Because again, in Diddy's situation, Cassie came out with the, with her civil thing, and they settled it. They said Diddy paid like $30 million. It got settled, and then it got picked up by the state, and boom, the rest is history. Now you know the rest of the story. So maybe that's how they doing things now. I don't know, but it just seems a little backwards to me. Run through these comments real quick. Let me see. Jake Paul got a taste of real boxing. He heard about Tank running the heavyweights, knocking them out. Sounds like this relationship was for the bag from the beginning. No criminal charges or wanting your relationship to go public. You talking, CMO, you done said something, baby. You done said something. And she looks like, hey, I got this picture online. So the picture's online. I don't know if this is her or not. That's what I'm definitely trying to say. That I don't know if this young lady is her, but on the picture that you can get online, she looks like, your average young lady who, she want a good man, gonna treat her right. And somebody like Gervonta Tank Davis, he got some dough. Okay, break me off a little something, but not to the point where, she got to take an ass beating to get, a couple dollars. But she took the beat down, and so now she got that ass up on a civil situation. Okay, so now we're gonna see what happens. I do not disagree with you, CMO. Don't listen to Jake Paul. He also had sex assault allegations in the past. So hey, so who knows? This is definitely worth something, And here's my biggest thing. This is what made me, kind of swerve into this lane a little bit. I was looking forward to seeing Alicia Baumgardner fight. That's what I was looking forward to. And of course, that's not going to happen because of this fight. And then the other thing is too, is like, they should have just gone ahead and let the undercard fight. You know what I'm saying? I wonder why they didn't just do that. I don't know. Anyway. So that's it, y'all. I just wanted to come through, run the transcript, get it out here for whoever was not hip to it. People said that there was a civil case against him. I didn't know about all these details until I read this transcript. This is some ugly shit. This is ugly. And so, why he would conduct himself this way, pretty damn ridiculous, in my view. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So, with that being said, y'all, that's it. That is definitely the podcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, replay gang, leave a comment, because I want to hear from you. And until next time, y'all, we will see you when we see you.